This is the Clark Connection Podcast, your weekly dose of inspiration and power. We'll dive deep into the stories and strategies that ignite personal growth and entrepreneurial fire. Join us as we empower you to take control, level up your leadership, and build the life you deserve. Get ready to rise, to thrive, and to finally become the leader of your own destiny. Let's go. Welcome to the Clark Connection Podcast, where we explore leadership, personal growth, and the power of influence. I'm your host, Aaron Clark, aka The Coach, and in today's episode, I'm joined by longtime music educator Patrick Bordelon, who shares his inspiring journey in shaping young musicians. We talk about building confidence through performance, fostering leadership in the classroom, and how failure can be one of our greatest teachers. Patrick also reflects on unforgettable Jazz Fest moments, collaborations with renowned artists, and how events like 9/11 deeply shaped his approach to education in life. This conversation is packed with wisdom for educators, leaders, and anyone passionate about growth through creativity. And now, before we dive in, gotta give a quick shout out to our premium sponsor and the rest of our sponsors. But our premium sponsor, Vicki Hubbard with Hubbard Flooring Studios. Vicki and her team are masters at transforming spaces, laying down foundations of beauty and strength, just like the foundations we build in leadership. Whether you're looking to refresh your home or reimagine your workspace, Hubbard Flooring Studio has you covered from the ground up. You can visit them at their physical site on Boylan Avenue in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or give them a call at 225-924-1582, or explore their amazing work at hubbardflooringstudio.com. Remember, great leadership starts with a strong foundation, and Vicki and her team know exactly how to put that in place. Also, huge shout out to Wayne with 7K Metals for silver and gold, your trusted source for securing your financial future. Bobby with the Comfy Quest LLC, your destination for holistic healing and craniosacral therapy. Andrew with Automate Integrate Professional Services, bringing ease and efficiency to your businesses. Joseph with Landscape King, crafting beautiful outdoor spaces 1 yard at a time. And C&J Embroidery, custom designs that make your brand pop. We're so grateful for their support, and if you're looking for any of their services, be sure to check them out and tell them that Coach Clark sent them your way. And look, if you've got connections or questions or just want to connect with me, click on the link below in the show notes, fill out a quick form. I'd love to hear from you. And you may even be featured in our Ask the Coach episodes. Now, the guy you've all been wanting to hear about and talk with, that Patrick Bordelon. He is the Fine Arts Facilitator at Central High School. They also a performing and recording artist. He's been the band director at Central High School for over 25 years and is an in-demand musician performing at multiple events, including the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, Ebb and Flow, Brownsville Jazz Fest, and many more. So let's bring on Patrick. And welcome to the show, Patrick.
Good to be here.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming on. I know we've got a little bit of long history, work together. I got to witness you working with my oldest son, who's now a graduate. But I kind of want to go back. You said that 25 years, been a band director. What was it that got you into being a band director?
Well, I guess with most of us, the performing on your instrument kind of gets you into it, and we want to go to college for free. So you put those two things together, and it's normally some kind of educational music degree. And probably 90% of the people that get one don't use it because it's it's a little bit different job than most, I think. But the 10% of us that do use it pretty well. You kind of we enjoy all the aspects of the job. It changes every day. We get to have wonderful kids like yours, and the wonderful families that we get to work with. And at the end of the day, we get to do music all day long. So that's a pretty good thing. So yeah, definitely going to college at Northwestern, auditioned for Loyola and LSU, got scholarships there, got scholarships for everywhere, but Northwestern was the one that gave me all the money. And I wanted to double major in trombone and guitar. So they said, that's no problem. We can do both of those. Took 24 hours every semester I was in college. Had to get the dean's signature. I think I have 190 hours of undergraduate hours.
That's a lot of hours.
A lot of hours. Most people are doctors with 190, but no, music education.
I think I made the bare minimum.
And, you know, most of those were performing classes. You know, I was in 3 jazz bands. But it was, I did a good amount of coursework as well. Trying to get done in time. Most music educators take the 6 or 7 year route because there are so many hours that, you know, take 3 hours a week and only give you 1 hour of credit. But yeah, it really taught me the work ethic that goes along with this type of job early on. So I guess that's what kind of attracted me to it, staying with it.
Right. And when you said this is a different job for us, what did you mean by that?
Well, you know, to put the accolades of your hard work in the hands of teenagers, like we do, is a little bit different. You know, if they do bad on a math test, you know, it's a bad thing, but they can retake the math test and they can learn, and the teacher keeps teaching. They're, you know, whereas us, you know, when we're in front of the 2,000 people and they're doing their thing, they have to have the confidence to do it. So that's got to start way before they get in front of those 2,000 people to get excited to do the thing that they have worked so far on. And you know, the day to day building up to that isn't as exciting as the actual thing for most. But if you know, I tell the younger teachers, if you remember what the end is going to be like, well, every day we're doing the same thing. You get to do that every day. And if you treat it that way, the kids kind of, you know, get that excited and you stay that excited and just keep moving forward. And, you know, it's a way to do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's nothing like putting your work on display that those teenagers get to do. I know that was one I always told people coaching. They're like, wow, it's so great. I'm like, but is it? Because when you don't win, everybody tells you how bad a job you did.
They all see it like, wow, that note was wrong. Like, he knew the note was wrong. You probably knew the note was wrong, but it's still wrong. That's weird, huh? It's like, it is.
I didn't know the note was wrong. Sounded great to me. That makes a lot of sense, talking about how you said the work ethic for the job too, that being something that you learn going through college for that. And it really is, you know, being fortunate enough to have watched you for 3 years. 3 years was how long Zachary was in the jazz.
That's 3 years. Yeah.
Technically 4 that he was in the band.
Sure.
And so just seeing how you guys, both you and Mr. Leger, worked with your students was one of the things that impressed upon me, that to really, hey, I got to get him on here, because seeing you get out there, you're giving your guys and gals the tools. And then a lot of times it was like, and here they go. And now you're off.
Nothing about me. Yeah. And it takes that ownership on their part to really hone it down, and for them to practice their skill in the element. It can't be there can't be a safety net, you know. And even then when you get down to it, it's like, yeah, they're just playing a song in front of people, you know. Which to most people that's what it is. But to them, it's like, it's so important that all the little things happen, and they can't control all the little things, but they still have to make the little things just like life, you know. And they react to um, things that didn't go as what they thought, necessarily good or bad, but just different, you know. And they change, and then usually the sum of the parts are way more than they should be, because they made the thing that can't be made again, and that's the idea. Yeah.
Right. And so how do you go about, because you said I loved how you said it. You give them that ownership, you give them that. How do you create that ownership in getting that these young people, these young men and women, to take it serious and go ahead and bring about that and perform on that level?
Yeah, our first big gig pretty much every year is the Veterans Day program. So it's pretty easy to explain that the notes that they're now learning are the same notes that that mom heard at her son's funeral or at her grandfather's funeral or when they buried her husband. This song that it's kind of corny and kind of old and it's the Army theme song and Marines. It's kind of when they realize how important those notes are and the important that they are playing it to those people at that time. I mean, just hones everything in. And then the fun stuff that we do before and after it, I can explain that that's why they gave their life. That's why they dedicated their life to the safety of our country. So children of their age cannot worry about things that they had to worry about, and they can worry about playing that song and having fun and doing all the things. Uh, so with starting off the year with that focus, it's really easy to kind of pull through the rest of the year that the things that they work on and the service that they provide to the community is just as important as you know any other job that's out there to help the community. They're just as important.
Yeah. And so what are things that you do that throughout the year, I guess you would say, or as you're working with them, that to really transfer that ownership? Because that was one that always stood out to me, just how impressed I was that from day one watching your, especially the jazz band. I think that's really cool, just watching those young men and women get up there and really just take ownership of it.
Yeah, the democratic connection to jazz band is that there's lots of them, but there's usually one on a part, right? If you're the second trombone player or the bass trombone player, uh, you're the bass trombone player. So if that part has something that's important, it's up to you to make sure it happens. Which means before you come to class, you're prepared for that part um, to your greatest extent that you can. Then when we get together, it's your responsibility to get even better, to help others get even better, to push forward. But that's all the mechanics. So once that gets done, then you're up to, well, now you got to listen to what's going on. If the drummer does something different, he's going to tell you what he wants different for some reason, and you react to it. So there's a give and take within the ensemble. Um, and that all takes repetition just to have ears big enough to hear it, let alone the confidence to react to it. So it's both me getting them confident as individual musicians and then getting them confident as a team. Um, and that's sometimes hard when they're starting brand new instruments. Sometimes we have doublers or triplers, in jazz ensemble. And it's kind of like jumping into French 4 without really taking French 1, but you kind of took some Spanish and some English. And so it's kind of in there. Um, but I can't do the work for them. All I can do is give them the opportunity to work. And that's the special place about Central is that for 25 years, I've had groups of kids that wanted the challenge, that wanted to work. My job is to show them how and give them the opportunity, but it can't be done for them. So to see the kids each year take that responsibility and choose to do that amount of work, yeah, it's very gratifying. And I can't explain it. It's not. I don't think it's anything we do. It's just giving them the opportunity, and we're lucky enough to give them the opportunity here. Then they're taking advantage of.
Right. And been doing it a long time. I love how, just tell everybody all the time, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And you can see your influence on these young people. It's always was one of my favorites. I think it was the first like competition that I showed up to was at the Manship Theater when y'all were getting
Mhm,
ready for state. Was it regional or
mhm.
state? I don't remember.
Manship is actually just it's a get together of some of the programs around. It's for technically to warm up for Loyola's Jazz Fest that most of us do, but yeah, that's just a gig. It's kind of hang
Yeah.
out, place.
No, it was no, that was the first one that I went to with more than just the Central Jazz Band.
Send your people.
As a
Yeah,
coach, I got to
yeah.
see it too from y'all playing in the halls, playing at this, playing at that, but never saw it
juxtaposed
in
with other schools. Yeah.
right with other schools. And I just thought it was just a cool thing to see. All right, every single group took on the personality of their leader, and that your group was always just so lively and bubbly. I was like, yep, they were the best one. I don't know why we watch anybody else.
They're all quality groups. Yeah. All quality.
No, they were all really good. They were all
Aren't they great? I know. That's good. Yeah. And they are lucky to be in a place that has, you know, every school should have this type of program. Um, but we are in an area that has, you know, a good 5 or 6, 7, you know, strong things. And North Shore and Lafayette, you know, there's around the state, but part of LAJE, a state organization that's trying to help bring that to every school in the state of Louisiana, as you would think it would be because we're the birthplace of it, but definitely not. You know, other school systems have so many other things to deal with that, you know, just having a music program that's strong is hard enough. To go the next step and do a jazz program does take, you know, that much more dedication. And, you know, we try to help them do that.
right. And that's what I was saying is I just really loved how that they took on and they get up on the stage and they're fun and they're charismatic, and even getting them to come out and speak like, all right, this next one is about blah 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 blah. Here's what it is.
Yeah, that really, I guess I started that maybe 15 years ago, something like that, maybe 17. That should be in a college book. That's not in a college book, how to be a jazz band director. But I think it's great. You know, again, it gives them ownership. They get excited about it. And it shows that, you know, they're not a superstar singer with everybody in the background and only them on stage, but they get their time to be in the spotlight on their voice. And then if they choose to, they get to have it on their instrument as well with improvising, which both of those things are the tradition of jazz. You know, that's kind of why it came out. To see just the word that you used is absolutely correct. You want to see the personality of the player. You want to see the personality of the speaker, and you see the personality of the band in the school and kind of everything else. But yeah, kids have gotten job offers. They've taken jobs just, you know, just because they stood in front of a group and introduced the song. The guy's like, huh, I bet you could sell insurance. And they're now insurance salesmen. Uh, and kind of music has that, you know, we are usually around upper crust of society, and we are appreciated in that aspect, and it's not something you can download or steal or anything like that. So when you can stand in front of a group and lead and perform like that, it's, you know, those qualities can be transferred in many other aspects of life. So that seems to help them out a good bit.
Oh yeah, and just standing up and talking in front of people is, well, I think, what is that, the number 2 or 3 fear
I think
in the
so.
United
Most
States?
people won, yeah, because they cannot, you know, be around the other ones, but eventually you're going to have to talk in front of some people, you know.
Right. Yeah, because that was one I've heard all the time. You know, the death ranks below that. So at any funeral,
Yeah,
people would rather be in the casket than on the stage.
yeah, I'll take that spot instead. Can I do a? Mhm.
But no, and to see these young men and women get up there and talk and be confident is so cool, because I was thinking, first time I saw it, I went, I wouldn't have done that at
I mean, who would make them do
16,
that?
17.
And that's the point. Like, you can't make them do it. Like when I'm in front of the ensemble when we're getting closer to the gig, I'm like, all right, guys, who wants to introduce? You know, it's never like, guys, no one, you know. Bueller's everyone. I've never had to make anybody do it because I'm lucky enough to have, you know, not the most confident kids, you know, because you know, I've helped some stand up, you know, as they are crying and whimpering because they're so scared to stand up, not in front of people, but in class even. Like they're, you know, but you know, they worked through that, and then by the time they got in front of the venue, they were like pros, you know. And that's what it's okay, you know, they have to know it's okay to be horrible when you're trying something new, and you know that's okay. That's what we're all doing. We're trying new stuff, and we're failing, falling on our face, getting back up, doing it again, getting better. Like, oh, nobody does it the first time perfectly, you know.
Oh yeah. And guys, if you've liked what you've heard so far, like make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the show, do all the things. Drop a comment below and tell that Patrick how awesome he is. A little music note or something. That, but I'm gonna come back to, you said something that I think is key to everybody in life. That failure is not final. That learning to get over that. That, oh man, I failed. I'm the worst. Blah blah blah. Hey, and that's something that you teach daily with these young men and women. That is
I do. I
to
show them
be
they're the
okay
worst
taking critique and failure.
all the time. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And the kids sometimes mention that when I say something positive, like, what? Like, what just happened? I never really realized that. I don't say, I think they're used to frivolous, nice things said all the time in other classes. Um, and that's a technique. There's nothing wrong with it. Um, but I find, you know, always working towards something more, and again, always looking at it and always, trying to strive. But that's the that's the compliment, because I think they can do more. So in always striving to do more, it's me trusting them that they're going to work even harder. So to me, that's the nice thing I say every day, even though it's, hey, measure 75. Nah, guys, we're not getting that at all. That's the compliment, because we're spending time on it, not just, moving over. But every now and then I will give somebody a shout out, and they seem surprised at that. So, uh, yeah,
Yeah. Well, it gives them something to look forward to, and
obviously, yeah.
it's one that I've always thought that you shouldn't, like, people shouldn't be praised for doing their job. They should be praised for doing something above and beyond their job.
If you figure out your niche, and then you keep trying to hone that down, the accolades and the things will come. But I tell them all the time, you want to be in a position to be able to say yes to the things you want to say yes to, and no to the things you want to say no to. So that foundation of, again, doing your job each day, whether it's a student or, their engineering gig or whatever they do, the more you do the right things every day and kind of build up everything, it puts you in control. Not that you can do anything you want in the world, but in reality, you can kind of do anything you want in the world, because that gives you um, the strong foundation to make plans what you're going to do, in 2 summers or in retirement or with your grandkids, or all the things that we want to do. The angry people that they encounter in life are normally the ones that can't make those decisions because they didn't put the work in. So we have those discussions a good bit, throughout jazzing in class.
Mm-hmm. No, and that makes it so, because I mean, it's more than just that becoming a professional musician. I mean, that you probably, the percentages better than I do of them actually going on and getting paid to go do that as their job.
Yeah, especially now. I mean, 20 years ago, there was still a faint, 0.001% of having a hit and buying 2 Ferraris and paying for your first house on your first single. That, there's people that still did that in the late 90s and early 2000s. Now it's just not. That is not an avenue at all. Music is done for the love of music, which is bringing us into a more true, um, live shows have become way more important. Uh, it's a great time to be a musician, as long as you don't want, all those millions to deal with. That's not.
I mean,
But yeah, it's,
who
yeah,
wants
no,
that?
who wants that?
Nobody
Nobody
wants
wants that.
millions of dollars.
But as a functional member of society, you can take this skill, no matter what else you do, and find a revenue stream that's enjoyable for you, that's enjoyable for the people that are hearing it, whether it's, the podcast, or whether it's playing live in a venue, or recording, or doing things. It's still very profitable on that end. You can definitely make um, a dent in your monthly bills. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you can. And so speaking of, I mentioned you played in a lot of, when I was going through the open, a lot of different things and gigs. So one that jumped out at me was playing at Jazz Fest in New Orleans. So tell me about the first time you ever played at Jazz Fest.
First time was the Congo Square stage with a Latin band called Vivas. And I was playing trombone, playing the horn section. It's a 12-piece band. Everything was in Spanish. Nothing was in English. Basically Bolivian folk tunes, some Cuban folk tunes, some merengue, just really killer Latin music. They're one of the top bands in New Orleans for the Latin scene. And yeah, you go on this huge stage, there's 20,000 people in front of you. You get this quick sound check that you can't hear anything. Your music is going to blow off the thing, all these problems to deal with, and then go, and you got to be on. So especially festival shows like Jazz Fest and Ebb and Flow in Brownsville, and um, they're the largest gigs that you'll probably do, with the shortest sound check, with the worst backstage. The trailers are hot and the ice is all melted in the water, so you don't have any dry mouth, and all these adversarial things are happening for you. And then you get to the stage and you can't hear anything because the monitor's set up for the rock band that you can't before. And when they hit go, you've got to turn it on, and you've got to be able to do whatever difficult thing that you have to do with enjoyment. Like it's gotta be, and it's an absolute blast. But mentally, you've got to prepare yourself for that, because if you don't, you're going to change. You're like, wait, no, stop. I can't hear monitors. And you'll waste your 30-45 minute set on a 15-minute sound check. That's not going to matter anyway. So a lot of the younger bands learn that in the bad way. Uh, I've been lucky enough to play a few different artists at Jazz Fest. I've played every stage except for the gospel tent and the blues tent. So I've done lots of stages at Jazz Fest. That's wonderful.
So are those at like different Jazz Fest, or was it all like some of
That was all at New Orleans Jazz Fest. Yeah. So they have multiple different stages that kind of have themes. So they book bands on certain days that have that kind of those themes, and each stage has its own little, cool backstage thing, and surrounding, like the Congo Square is encircled in kind of tribal things, and a lot of dance conga lines kind of get through there, and yeah, Latin bands work well in Congo Square. So.
Right. No, and I think I didn't ask that because what I meant was like, was it in the same year, or was it like different years?
No, that was all different years. So the last 10 or 12 years, it was a couple different bands, different stages, different things. Yeah, some modern jazz, a lot of Latin. But in order to be in those bands, then you have to do the things that those bands do. So it was a lot of Tuesday night playing at Tipitina's, a lot of weekly gigs, while doing this job, which was difficult, because I only got the second director job in maybe 2013, maybe 14. So for the first 14 years, 2000, it was just me doing the entire program. So I had to fit that in with the professional playing side as well. So any gig that came up, I had to turn down if it interfered in the school thing. And all the bands that I toured with understood that, which was wonderful. They still missed me when I was gone, so that was great. So when I did decide that was worth that focus, well, I got to do the cool things like Jazz Fest. We opened up the Republic, which is killer place in New Orleans. Sold out the House of Blues, a lot of cool things. But then when family started becoming into the picture, got married, had kids, even when I got the second position, that I still wanted to focus on more things other than just playing Jazz Fest every year. So again, music is so varied that I could then spill that into things that are more in town, that are less time consuming but still as gratifying, and just kind of shifted around. That's how that went.
Yeah. So who would you say is the, I don't want to say the coolest, but who would be like the most interesting or like your highlight? I got to play with this person.
We did do we did a Microsoft convention at the Superdome. And we played with Mark McGrath. What was his band's name? Every morning there's a halo and what was his band's name? I forget.
Is it Sugar Ray? Was that
Sugar Ray? That's what it was. Yeah, you played Sugar Ray. Yeah, that's
I
fine.
say you were testing me. I knew it.
I know that was right. It's a quality podcast here.
I Shazammed it on my phone.
Yeah, from my voice, nice. I also opened up for Blue Oyster Cult. That was cool. In Lake Charles. Yeah, that was late '90s, so that's a little while ago, not too bad ago. Kristen Chenoweth was cool. She was in the first Wicked Broadway thing, and she's done a couple movies and stuff. But great entertainer, great performer. Her gig had real straight ahead jazz stuff. And then she did a country tune where it was like strummy acoustic guitar. Then you had to turn on a big, huge Marshall thing for a big guitar lead and that kind of stuff. So she was fun and varied. But there's some guys here in town that have toured with, Harry Connick Jr., Joe Bonamassa, some big, huge names that are in Baton Rouge, just because it's a great place to be. There's a lot of good things that are going on here. And I got to play with the Coasters when they came through town a couple years ago, from the old school, the 50s, 60s doo-wop thing. So, and again, this is all on the same instrument. It's the same basic setups, and you get to do all these varied things. So it is pretty cool, the situations you can find in this music thing.
Yeah. And so, what would you say then? Because I'm sure, I'll tell anybody this, that there are people whose stories you should believe, no matter what they say, you should believe them. And teachers always make that list, because I know there's stuff that teachers can't make up. What would you say is one of like your favorite stories to tell about something with a student or something along those lines? It's just like, okay, this happened.
So many. The thing that always sticks out, because unfortunately there's the anniversary comes every year. On 9/11, I was in this room teaching band, and we had second hour, and then as second hour was leaving and third hour was coming in, it was when the planes hit the towers. But there was the Pentagon that got hit, and there was the jet that crashed in the field. Well, back before cell phones, kids used to write notes to each other. Like, they would write words on paper for other kids to read. And one of the band classes left, and there was a note on the ground, and I looked, and it was a page flipped around, another page of, I can't believe this boy hasn't talked to me. This is the worst thing in the world, blah, 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 blah. And then the back of the page, the last letters, oh, and I think some planes hit some buildings. And that just goes to show you that the high school mind, does care about something. They just very rarely care about the right thing in the right amounts. So we're here to kind of help them, kind of redistribute that caring amount in the thing. But she turned to a wonderful person. But that day, she was sure caring about whatever boy didn't talk to her.
He talked to me.
Oh, and these plans, whatever. I don't know. This is the important stuff. I know. Yeah, what you gonna do?
I mean, what else is more important than me?
I mean, obviously, the center of all the universes are all of them, because
It's going around me. I know.
Yeah, it's The pool is the
just me.
inner pool.
Oh,
I love
no,
it.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's 6 out. I've got the note somewhere. I need to stuck it somewhere.
Yeah, I was about to say, and so for those of y'all that are under the age of 25 watching this, we didn't have Snapchat.
They didn't have Snapchat. Yeah, nothing. They had to, and remember, you couldn't give notes in class, so you had to sneak notes in class. In a band class, it's impossible, which is why she left it, because she was like, I can't get to anybody. We're in a tight ship here.
Or you had to try to pass it in the hallway, and
obviously it was a hallway pass that
they
got dropped.
Get your friend to give it to whoever, and hope they didn't read it, and
yeah,
or hope it didn't get intercepted
on it so you
by
could tell
the
if
teacher.
somebody opened it. Yeah, it was intercepted. Yeah.
So that was always nerve-wracking. I wouldn't do that today.
Right? Would you imagine burying your soul on paper and then passing it in English class to be read by all? Yeah. Yet you'll put it on the internet where 75 million people can read it for the rest of your life. That's way better.
No, I deleted it. It disappears.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's gone.
It's gone, guys. Yeah, you got love.
Yeah, if y'all believe that, I've got some swampland out in Arizona.
That'll make a great amusement park. Great amusement park on it. Yeah.
Yes. Or that oceanfront property in Missouri, I'd love to sell you.
I hear it's pretty rocking.
It's got 2 different oceans. You take your pick, whichever one.
Sometimes 3.
Sometimes
May to June, it's 3. Yeah.
That's right. And one low price today. Call me. All my contact information is listed below.
Exactly. Yeah. You can Venmo or PayPal.
I'd say, hit me up on MySpace, whatever. We're good.
Oh my.
And so you say, I mean, obviously, you've got this cool leadership style about you. What is it that you would say? What experience or experiences help shape that leadership style?
It's in meetings with other teachers. This is the way I explain it as well, because the math and the English department wants to know how we get kids to work this hard at all the games and all the practices and all the shows. And it's really having that goal of the performance be just another run through, just another, I'm not going to do it for the first time ever. I'm going to do it so many times that that's going to be a time, but I'm not scared to do it. I'm excited to do it, even though the feelings are going to be the same. So, helping the kids understand that anxiety that they're feeling, there's nothing wrong with you because you feel that. There's nothing, unhuman. You're not weak. You're not stupid. You're not immature. That's the stuff that if people could bottle, they would make $1 trillion, because the excitement to show the world what you've worked on is what we all live for, so to lead them down the path to that performance, I've got to put them in the mindset of that performance each day. So when I'm leading them through rehearsal and through small group practice and through, run throughs at the end of class, it's my job to put them in the mindset of that performance. So when they get there, they've felt all those feelings before. So whether it's making them nervous to, they haven't practiced enough, or that solo isn't quite working, or they're not listening enough, or they haven't counted enough, or, the person sitting next to them hasn't, and they still got to sit, on the stage with them. As we go through that, it's always for the end result, but the end result isn't an ending point. It's just another jumping off point. So kind of with all those things in mind, it's fairly easy to get strong leaders from within the group, and to have them confident on what they could do if I wasn't there, if they were going to start a group of their own, or if they were going to, be a performer on their own. They know the steps to get through. It doesn't make it easier. It just gives them the skills to kind of lead from within. And the more I do that with each kid in class, the easier it is to,
But what was it that got you there? What was it that got you? Because I know we don't all start off by doing that great as that. What was it that got you to create that leadership style of, I'm going to help these the students or get them to learn how to do it on their own? What was it that?
Well, because I was coming from a performance background, and I was still performing. I haven't taught a year where I didn't have shows coming up in the next week or 2 weeks or something like that. And so I always shared that with them too. Like, here's what I'm working on. Here's how I'm working on it. Um, it's kind of like letting them into the club of this work ethic that musicians have, and teachers have, and pretty much any professional of anything. But this is our aspect of it, and this because they're interested in the nuts and bolts of, how do you get good at this piece? How do you get good at improvising? How do you pick songs? How do you get other musicians to want to play with you? So as I'm explaining those things that I'm currently still walking through, I'm kind of bringing them along, and that definitely helped it even from the beginning. Um, I think it was a little bit different take on it than they were used to, because not every band director has that performance. They've all performed, but a lot of them kind of perform and they're like, yeah, I just want to teach. I don't want to play anymore. That's a lot of headache, and it is. It's a lot of I give up lots of other things in order to keep that other career. Um, but I think it's a healthy thing to do. I think it's profitable thing to do. That's for sure. Um, and it's very worthwhile in dedicating some of your time to it. And that's how I tell the kids as well. You are choosing who to hang out with and who to spend your time with, and they're going to change you as a person, hopefully for the better. So that's just like who you're friends with, who you're marrying, who you allow into your life. Well, the musicians you play with are the same thing. So they're either going to make you better or make you worse. So it's just like the cosm of life. You get to, um, if you're lucky enough, get in these positions where these great people trust you with their art form as well. Then you get to combine and make it even better. They give you money for it. It's all kind of so really in sharing the thing that they do in this class every day is the same thing that the real guys are doing in the real world. There is no difference. Really help them, understand that it's important to do the work every day, and to kind of stay focused on it. And that takes the convincing out of it each day. Like, I'm sure some math teachers have to do, like, no, you got to do it, come on, you're going to fail. We very rarely talk about grades in any of my classes. That's not a motivator. The grades come with the motivation to want to make themselves better, and that kind of stuff.
Right. And I think you said something that's important for all of us as leaders is that you're being open and vulnerable. That you're letting them know, hey, I've got this show coming up on Friday and I've only practiced once. So, guys, these are
And
things
here's this.
you don't want to do.
I show them the list of there's 95 songs. There's 95 songs that somebody's given me for a gig in 3 days. 95. So if I've never heard music before and I've got like, okay, let me go learn those 95 songs, that's impossible. Sorry, kids. You're not going to do it. Out of that 95 songs, the three that are brand new that, the corporate people want or the bride wants, or just the singer's like, oh, this one might be fun. Like, okay, I remember in rock band class, we were listening to one, and they were like, oh, that one's stupid. That one's easy. I was like, wait for it. And at like 3.5 minutes in, this huge guitar solo comes out of nowhere. And it was this, totally not a rock god song, but this huge solo came in. I'm like, and you saw their eyes just blow up. They were like, what? I was like, I know. I almost turned it off too, but no, I'm like, this is a new tune. I got to learn it. And then, because I just imagined myself on stage going, whatever. And then that moment having everybody turn to look at me, I'm like, what do you, What are you looking at? Like I wouldn't know what I didn't know, which is the most dangerous thing to do in any aspect of life, of course.
Like I got
So
something.
yeah, that's always fun.
Is that
I
why
know
everybody's looking at me?
broccoli on a like no the guitar solo, and then to go back and listen to it. So yeah, I have them picture themselves on stage in embarrassing moments a lot, so they hopefully don't happen. Hmm.
Well, that's a good one to get them thinking, because it's hard to get. I don't want to say young. It's hard to get anybody thinking
Anybody,
that far.
anybody, yeah. Because
Because
again, in music, you've got 20-year-olds, you've got 60-year-olds. I mean, they're all over the place, and um, age does not mean a good work ethic at all. You know,
what?
I know.
No way.
It's new. I wish it just came automatically. What do you?
No, I was actually prepared for. I'm gonna be doing a presentation soon,
Mhm.
and talking all that. And one of the things that I say, sometimes the only thing that comes with age is just age.
Age, yeah.
Doesn't mean
Mileage.
maturity. Doesn't mean wisdom. Sometimes
Mhm.
it just comes age.
Doesn't mean more money. I mean, you got to prepare for everything. You got to do all the things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good. Ooh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you, I've worked with some not so good work ethic 60-year-olds,
Definitely, without a doubt. Yeah.
and I've worked with some really good young people with. Well, I mean, one that I wouldn't trade for the world right now. She's 23
Mhm.
years old.
Perfect.
Excellent work ethic.
I love it.
So
Uh-huh.
that just kind of depends. I think that's a good.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so as we're kind of winding down, now I know you kind of mentioned this one that you're doing that constantly playing, constantly reading, more music, learning more music. Um, so what would be like or like what book or maybe podcast or something that you're either currently reading, or maybe just finished reading?
Yeah. The most of the things that I like to keep up on are the technical side of things. So I'm looking at what the guys that are playing for movies and major tours in LA, what are they using in their touring rig? What are they using in their home studio? Um, because even though they're playing for multi-million dollar companies, they're not the superstars. They're not Shakira. They're Shakira's guitar player. I want to know who Rascal Flatts hires as their touring guitar player. How did he get the gig? What is he using? Where's he working on? So those guys I tend to follow, and usually what I figure out is like, oh, they're using what I'm using. That's kind of cool. Um, as far as the jazz side, the music side, the history of the music is so important, and the history of the music is why the art form is still so strong as it is. So just doing research into new tunes, some of this obscure tune that Coltrane did or that Miles Davis had a hand in, uh, finding the chart for it, working it up, calling it on the next gig with my other jazz guys, and digging into the chord changes, and there's that aspect of it as well. There's the written word about the history of it and the theoretical part of it, and then there's getting on stage and actually get to do it with other guys that are excited about learning that cool, like what E minor 7, minor major 7 to B minor major 7 to G flat sharp 11. What? That's crazy. I'm like, I know. It's just a B minor scale. Uh, and you could think that's dorky, which of course it is nerd now, but that all that tech talk does have a sound, and when you get to manipulate it and you can hear it, you don't have to be schooled to understand um the importance of it, because when you hear it you're like, oh yeah, that's wow, that's a thing. So that's what my life is filled of is doing, you know and the opportunity to have the things to work on, and then to get to use it so quickly is pretty special.
Oh, agreed, agreed. And the last thing I always ask everybody that is, what's one question I should have asked you that maybe I didn't ask you?
Well, that's funny. You did a great job there. You did a great job. Uh, maybe why Central for 25 years?
Yeah. So yeah, why Central High School for 25 years?
Because it's such a great place. It really is a special place, not just because I graduated here. That made it, pretty up there, but because I've got lots of friends that teach, and everybody teaches a different place. It's me and Ty are the lucky ones that are here. Um, we are lucky enough to have control over our program, to have control over our the places that we feel need to get build our passion through the kids' passion, a very rewarding professional outlet. That's the best way I can explain it. Uh, Along with the wonderful kids and the supportive parents and all this, great stuff. It's really a special place. Everybody's asking when retirement. I'm like, I can do this forever.
Retire?
I don't know. What is that? Who retires after 25 years? Is that a thing?
90?
I know. Dag nabbit. I still have the cheery disposition when I'm, 78, dude.
That's still young. Still young. I've determined you don't really get old till you're 83.
Young at heart, 83. Wait, mom's 80. Let's say 87. Let's say your mom a couple more years.
I just say that because I was when kind of my granddad's health started to decline, was about 83.
83, kind of felt that one. Yeah.
All of my grandparent, I was like, what? 83 is when I'm...
83 is a good year. All right. 82 and a half.
82.
Call it quits. Take your trip to Rome and come back,
Oh, awesome. Well, Patrick, I appreciate you hopping on here, man. That if anybody wanted to reach out to you with any questions, how do they hit you up?
They can find me at Bordelon 2, the number 2, at centralcss.org. Because when my mother taught here at Central High School, I gave her P. Bordelon. So I'm P. Bordelon with the number 2. Because that's what sons do to their wonderful mothers, that they give them the email address.
You deserve it. I'm petition the board. You should be number 1.
Yeah. They'll have like 3 different emails searching around. It's hard enough already. Yeah. I appreciate it, Aaron. Doing a great job, man. Love it.
No, my pleasure. I enjoyed having you on. We'll definitely have to get together another time. And guys, make sure y'all go watch a Central High School band competition. That sometimes they even play football. That when
every now and
Friday
then
nights.
Every now and then, perhaps in the Superdome.
Yes, perhaps in the Superdome again. There are definitely. I'm telling y'all guys, go check out the one Manship Theater. It's always in the spring. But
yes, early March. It's great. Yeah, early March.
It's phenomenal. You'll love it. You'll get to see Baton Rouge Jazz Band, and then all sorts of. I mean, it's like 8, 9 different high school jazz bands that.
It is. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, it's a very special night.
Only like $10. You can't beat it. You can't.
You could pay double and still feel good about it, I think.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, and we'll definitely have to catch you on the next one.
Thanks, man. Take care.
What an incredible conversation with Patrick Bordelon. His passion for music education, leadership, and lifelong learning is contagious. That whether you're an educator, a parent, or someone who simply loves the art, I hope you took away something meaningful from this episode. Now, before we wrap up, let me get into the top 5 takeaways from this episode. And number 1, that it's confidence is key. That whatever you do, be confident. It's the key. 2, ownership fuels engagement. And this is a great one for all of us leaders to take heed to, because the more ownership that we give those that we lead, meaning allowing them to make decisions and have input, that will fuel their engagement with you. 3, performance develops character. You want to find out what your people are made of? Put them under some pressure. Number 4, leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. If you know somebody who claims to be a leader, and then you ask them to turn around and see who's following them, and if they see no one, they're not really a leader. They're just out for a walk. Because leaders have followers, and leadership is influence. And number 5, failure teaches us best. You're going to learn a whole lot from failing, just as much as you would, and more than you would from being successful. And listen, just like building great teams takes intentionality and precision, building great spaces does too. That's why we're proud to be sponsored by Hubbard Flooring Studios. That if you're ready to upgrade your home or office with top-notch flooring and service, give Vicki and the team a call at 225-924-1582 or visit them at hubbardflooringstudio.com. Make sure you tell them that the coach sent them. And as always, if this episode inspired you, make sure you subscribe, share, and leave a comment. And if you're ready to take the next step in your own leadership journey, connect with me on all my social medias. That I'd love to connect with you. And so remember, you don't need to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So keep leading, keep growing, and keep innovating. Until next time, stay inspired and connected, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Clark Connection Podcast. Thanks for listening to the Clark Connection Podcast, where my goal is to add value to you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the show. You can also connect with me via my website, coachaclark.com, or on all socials at coach_A_Clark. The links are in the description. Huge thanks to my sponsors, Wayne with 7K Metals, Bobby with the Comfy Quest LLC, Andrew with Automate Integrate Professional Services, Joseph with Landscape King, and Chris and Jess with C&J Embroidery. We look forward to bringing you more great content. See you next week.